Man, this is like the third time I've had to record this. Well, Schedule 1 is certainly one of the most interesting and tantalizing games to come out. In the past couple of years, it's not like there haven't been a few similar experiences here, and not just in the gameplay itself, rather the influence it's had on the gaming market industry. AAA gaming is seeming to look less and less interesting as time progresses, as single development studios on their own making indie games have proven time and time again you don't need to pour a bunch of money into a product to make it actually good. You can make a good, fun experience because video games are supposed to be fun. You're not supposed to like fill it with a bunch of garbage and then expect a bunch of people to like, hey, that's got a lot of stuff in there. Is that garbage? And you're like, well, you don't know until you figure it out. Come on inside. Unfortunately, Schedule 1 is completely sinking. I'm lying. I'm joking, of course. I'm just having fun with you. But Schedule 1 found itself in a couple different controversies, and I'd like to talk to you about them today, because there's even a few here that I didn't even realize was going on. I really didn't care. After I got one thing, I was like, okay, cool, it's going to stick with me. Catching up back on the videos here, and if you'd like to stick around for them, I highly recommend you hit that subscribe button, like if you like it, dislike if you dislike it, and let me know in the comments what I can do to improve on the content, why you didn't like the video, how can we move on from here, right? The feedback not only helps me get more feedback into the videos and push it out and make better quality videos, but it also very much helps me get the videos recommended to more people, so that way I can get more views and more people give me more feedback, and I can improve and improve and improve. Really trying to get back in the saddle here, and if you'd like to join a little bit further into the community here, I have a Discord server in the link below. I'll go ahead and link It's Confused, who I'm making a video on Schedule 1 with, and also the articles and references that I use below. As I was saying before, Schedule 1 has certainly found its footing. Pretty comfortably, might I add, not just like another game added to the indie developer list. It's made the top of the Steam charts, and for very good reason. It's just fun, right? It's just nonsense, it's just fun, but also there's plenty to do from a gameplay aspect, not just like having, a shooter aspect to everything and having a bunch of loot boxes and etc., etc. It doesn't need an entire like dopamine rush from you constantly to keep enjoying the game. You can just kind of like sit back and relax. And when I opened this game for the first time, I was immediately having a good vibe because the music was super chill. I already knew what I was getting into with the vibes. Everyone wants to be a drug dealer at one point in their lives. You think about it, and you're like, I already started doing my taxes, and if I start fucking those up, the IRS is getting my ass. A publisher who has put out two products, Drug Dealer Simulator 1 and Drug Dealer Simulator 2, have decided they wanted to go ahead and push the pin, slide a paper over the desk that says lawsuit, so to speak, if you understand what I'm picking up, what I'm putting down, And naturally, this made the majority of the consumer base pretty upset. Consumer base pretty much everywhere. It didn't matter if you were on PC or not. It's generally not a fun thing to see the big guy pushing around the little guy. And if you've been on YouTube for the past, 70 years, give or take, you would know that it's a pretty big problem, not just in the community creator space, but just game studios in general. When a bigger studio sees a small studio, in this case a one-man team, making something that's more successful, more fun, and it's getting more attention online, naturally they go, we could use this as a marketing opportunity and look at this and team up, maybe do a crossover, and promote our own product and our own thing. But fuck all that great, awesome shit we'd be doing for the community. Let's fucking hit that dude with a lawsuit and see if we can run him out of money, even though our lawsuit wouldn't even make it in court. And the community did as they always do, and they pushed back, and they pushed back hard. So much so that the Steam reviews are not looking great for pretty much any product the publishers put out. And this is no longer about Drug Dealer Simulator as a whole compared to Schedule 1. Now the publisher has essentially destroyed their reputation. It's no longer about the result was, right? In this situation, fortunately for the publisher, they backed down, because they would have easily lost this if the one-man developer had actually made enough money to fight back without issue. This still is not something that one person would want to go through and have to do with a legal team right after they hit some sort of success. It's not enjoyable, and they're probably going to reach out to the community for more support and just make things a hell of a lot worse. And with all the flack trying to save face, the publisher put out, essentially from the article that I'm pulling from, there is no lawsuit. It's not happening anymore, guys. We're all good. We're all fine. And you can't really come back from something like this, and it's just nothing you could do. While there were similarities, it wasn't enough to just make a whole lawsuit about, right? It was bullshit from the jump. It was classic bullying. You can't just like make a whole copyright on the genre of stealing drugs, right? Because you're gonna have to go ahead and go, hey, Rockstar Games, remember when you had that bikers update? Yeah, we're gonna have to take you to court for that one because you're dealing drugs in that, and we have a drug dealer game. What the fuck's your problem? And naturally, it's gonna be like, well, technically, someone did this first, and then that happened, and then that happened before that, and the list would go on. It would be pointless. It'd be a waste of fucking time. I'm sorry, my voice is running out here. I know you come here for the voice. I'm under a lot of stress. You know, I'm having to see how much stupidity is going on top of what I'm dealing with. Dude, I'm fucking losing it, you know? But it gets even more obscure as considering we're out of the woods there, not necessarily out of the woods in Schedule 1 being talked about negatively. Now, online, there's a couple different things going on, specifically regarding the Indian dealer achievement you can unlock by doing one simple thing, which I immediately did when I fucking sold my first OG Kush. Upcharged the shit out of somebody for $300 for like 3 OG Kush bags, right? And immediately pickpocketed him. That's how you get the achievement. You sell to a customer and you pickpocket him right after for all your shit back. Now, Indian dealer is supposed to be a play on a term that's used as a stereotype, Indian giver, and you can pretty much figure out the rest there. Now, somehow, I don't know how at all, because this is extremely rare for Twitter. If you've ever had a Twitter account for like a total of 32 seconds, you probably would have come to the conclusion that this is near fucking impossible, but it was done. So people began taking to the internet after seeing the Indian giver and the Indian dealer achievement unlock, and they go something along the lines of what this tweet has to say. We love Schedule 1, but the Indian dealer achievement uses a racist phrase tied to harmful stereotypes. We're asking Scheduled Game and Tyler TVGS to rename or remove it. Naturally, you could have seen a couple people in support of this, and there's a kind of a vocal minority versus vocal majority deal that goes on in society, right? When the vocal majority comes out, there's something usually that they're pretty hard-pressed about, and Twitter is super divided on literally anything. As one man put it best, you could hop on Twitter and say, hey, I think punching infants is bad. I think it's a pretty bad thing. And some guy's gonna come in and be like, hey dude, what's your fucking problem with, I can't punch infants? Are you fucking serious? Have you seen them? Are you serious? What is your problem? This is kind of part of that like cultural wave that I was mentioning a while back that you likely didn't see in the other video that I was mentioning, that AC Shadows kind of proves that if it's either one thing or another, to the extreme, right? There's no in between. And this is a lot of things that get made fun of in shows like Family Guy and South Park. People taking it to extreme, or even in the middle, everyone's getting punched, right? Everyone's a punching bag. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what you have to say, and what you know, you're getting punched in the fucking mouth, right? Everyone gets treated equally. And I think that's, how society functions, and I think it functions pretty well. Everyone gets a jab, and it's generally found to be in good fun. As for actual racists online, there's some people who are like, yeah, and they're pretty much a minority in this situation. No one actually gives a fuck about them, nor do they give them any attention. And then there's also a group of people who are like, this is insanely racist and insensitive, and it needs to go. Naturally, there's going to be pushback, and like I said with that vocal majority, it seems like a lot of people are in agreement that like, hey, we don't fucking care, dude. Let it ride. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Now, we've seen those people on one side of the extreme versus the other, and it's becoming to a boiling point where the people who are generally silent, the vocal majority, are now what they're coming from. They're turning into the vocal majority and being like, hey, can everyone shut the fuck up? Let it be. And you'll see stuff like, hey, I'm Native American, let this man cook. Or how about you respect the dev's creative choices and or fuck off forever. You people are insufferable. You'll have posts like, I'm half Polish and half Indian, and I found this hilarious. You have no idea how many people have joked about me being a thief growing up, both because I'm Polish and Indian. And guess what? It's all jokes. There's no harm. It's funny. Not everything is an attack. Don't be a snowflake. Which, I haven't seen a good argument for most of these replies, because most of them, actually, I've seen a couple of them just straight up turn into racist replies, and it's kind of ironic because we're talking about a concept of like, hey, this thing is racist, can we not deal with this, have it in the game, right? Can we not do this? And then someone would say like, hey, I'm Native American, or I'm Indian, I'm this, I'm that. This thing doesn't offend me, and some dude would be like, well, I didn't fucking ask you, insert slur, and that's just, that's just Twitter, that's just how it goes. Now, I obviously can't show you some of this shit, because YouTube's not going to like it, and it's not necessarily something I like to go ahead and spread. But, you know, this shit happens. You can pretty much find it anyway. Not to say that all the people are disagreeing with them or essentially saying stuff like this. It's more or less just kind of like, good for you, dude, or there's no replies at all. But the majority is just generally in favor of, like, we don't really care. You just gotta let it ride. It's just gonna happen. Everyone gets treated like shit sometimes. You just gotta roll with the punches. You know, for me, I grew up on like the Xbox 360, Xbox Live days, right? I've been called all manner of things. You know, I've been threatened to have my address read off to me, and I didn't even know what an IP address was. I thought that was like geolocation, dude. I thought they were fucking calling an airstrike on my house. That shit scared the fuck out of me, right? But it's also not something that I'm gonna go ahead and internalize for the rest of my life. Like, it happened. That I've moved on far from that interaction in my life, right? It doesn't stick with me. You know, it was a one-off. So be it, right? It's not going to follow me anymore. Now, sure, there are people who will go ahead and maliciously follow you with things, and those people generally are made fun of, because in society we look at people like that, maybe a racist old Southern guy, or as someone living in Chicago who can't go without like Starbucks, but thinks that everyone who lives in the state of Ohio is a bunch of old racist people, right? Thinking that they're all the same, and you know, it's just making stereotypes of each other. It's not fun. Generally, these people are categorized and stereotyped as well because, well, it's silly. It's funny. That's why these things are generally found to be like not that big of a deal to most people, because they know at the end of the day that this extreme thing, one side or the other, it's just a silly concept. That's why it's enjoyable to view. Now, not everyone's going to enjoy the same amount of, the same content, etc. And that's fine. That's most of the time, most people don't choose to interact with it, and they just move on with their lives. Some people just generally can't let it go. Not to say that everyone in this situation is exactly like that. They just can't let things go. It's pretty obvious that there are some people in the mix there, because they just reply after reply after reply after reply, and they just want to sit there and argue on Twitter all day. Some people genuinely don't have anything better to do and have nothing to contribute to anything, anywhere in their own communities. Whether you're a fucking insane old guy living in his like cabin in the woods and he's just talking shit on Twitter all day, right? Or you're someone who thinks you're super progressive and you're 13 years old and you realistically don't know about the world. Point being is that these people, these ideas, these caricatures, they're all ridiculous. It's just ridiculous nonsense, and that's that. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and let me know how you feel in the comments about the video itself, the feedback, anything you would have for me. What you want to see for Schedule 1 or for the videos. If you want to go ahead and show some love, some support, like if you like it, dislike it, and subscribe to stick around, and I'll see you guys around.